course. It was the last play of the game. It's a play that had to be executed for LSU to win. But Brad Davis, his career was much more than that one play. People forget that when he left LSU, he was the leading rusher in the history of the school. He broke Billy Cannon's record. Oh. And in 1974, he became the all-time leading rusher. His record was soon to be broken by Perry Radisky, who had it broken by Charlie Alexander. But Brad Davis also broke Cannon's single-season rushing record in 1973. And he played a few years in the NFL, last for George Allen and the Washington Redskins in 1977. And he was a man who was probably 200 pounds when he was playing in the NFL, and as tough a 200-pound man as ever played in that league. And we're pleased to have him here. And of course, he's gone on to great success beyond football as a dentist. And he's our third dentist in a row, following Billy Cannon and Matt Mock. And I think he's the best looking of the three. Certainly has a great smile.
Thank you.
So let's go back to November 4th, 1972. LSU's down 16-10 with 3 minutes to go. You get the ball, you drive the length of the field, and on the 10-yard line, there are 4 seconds left, and there's a play, and ball's knocked down, and there's only 1 second left. Some thought the clock should have run out. Just about everybody in Mississippi. But many, I'm told many LSU players thought the game was over too, so there was a bit of confusion. And what happened in the sequence that led up to the play and then ultimately to you catching the ball?
Well, it started, it was 2 minutes and 30-something seconds. We had the ball in, I don't know, 20. And Bert made some big plays, and Chris Danton was playing tailback at the time. And I was on the bench. You know, I had given up. I was on the bench, and my brother was, my younger brother was equipment manager, and I was sitting on the bench, and we were watching the game, and it was like, there's no way that we could go 80 yards in 2 minutes, and especially as Bert had got sacked one time. It was a 3rd and 15. But anyway, I was watching the game, and we were kind of talking about what we were going to do after the game, making plans. And all of a sudden, Coach Mack starts, with 10 seconds to go, Coach Mack starts hollering Davis, and Coach McCarty was going, "Where's Davis?" and it ended up that Chris Danton had broken a shoulder pad strap or some type of equipment, and he had to come off, and we had to get somebody in right away. And anyway, they hustled me in there, and Coach Mack grabbed him like he always grabbed by the shoulder pads, and you knew he was about to pick you up. He was that strong. He said, "Get in there and block for Bert." I said, "Okay, yes, sir." So we had run 2 plays from the 10-second point, and I was watching the film. It has the second play where the ball was dropped, and if you can see, this guy comes around and he's kicking his leg up. That's me. You know, I just knew the game was over. And so we looked up, and it was still a second. And so I think if we had a timeout, but Bert was able.
Incomplete pass.
So Bert was able to go to the sideline and talk to Coach Mack. And Coach Charlie Peavy, the offensive coordinator, had called our 2-point play, which we had never run. We had practiced. We were practicing once a week. Our 2-point play, which was called trips left, which meant we had 2 wide receivers out wide, and the tailback would walk into the slot and would give us 3 receivers on that side. And so when he called that, I knew Bert was not going to throw the ball to me. I was just wanting to run a good route. Actually, it was a pick play, so the 2 wide receivers came across and shielded the linebacker who was supposed to be covering me. and I went underneath and turned around, and I was open after the second step, and I was just waiting for the ball, and here it comes. And I had looked up, and at that time, Tiger Stadium had a high, the lights, they had one row of lights that were high, and then they had a lower row, just a single lights, which they had told us what they called it television lights for the night games. We never had one televised. And for a split second, I lost the ball in that light. So I just stuck my hand up, and Bert was that good, he hit me right in the hand. And I was able to grab it, and as soon as I grabbed it, I fell across the pylon, and that number 30, who's still griping about is Harry Harrison, who's on the radio with Ole Miss, and hit me at that time. And so the celebration started, but we forgot we had to kick an extra point.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah, once we got back together, you know, I went in and I was on the extra point team too. So I had to make sure nobody came through on my gap, and Rusty kicked the ball true, and we ended up 17-16.